Encoded message. Retrieving encrypted message.
John, I need you to take a deep breath and find your balls. And when you find them, finish the fucking job.
Welcome, Agent. Title Update 16 brought us a new brand set, Brazos de Arquebus. It gives us brand set bonus, skill haste, a never-before-seen +1 skill tier, and last increased mag size, as well as the Picaro's holster with an additional weapon damage bonus as a sub-attribute. Clearly a nod to hybrid build users. What is the best way to utilize this brand set? Let's take a step outside the box and go over the new crit skill hybrid template to help you build your own. As expected with most hybrids, you're going to use the technician specialization, utilizing the additional yellow core attribute it provides. Be sure to choose the healing bonus or skill damage bonus as needed. The primary weapon and centerpiece of the build is the Capacitor exotic assault rifle. At full stacks gives 60% skill damage and also gets 7.5% weapon damage per skill tier, which translates to +3 red cores. Its mods offer a large amount of crit hit chance and damage, which really play a big part in supporting the hybrid's high damage output. The secondary is up to you. A non-assault rifle though, because the Capacitor chews through ammo. I personally use the Harmony or a M870 with Future Perfect. For your sidearm, use the card if you're not a tier 6 skill hybrid, or the Orbit for the perfect finisher talent. As for the main build, it is now dominated by best in slot pieces. Starting with the backpack. The Memento works especially well with the Capacitor. The long and short buffs you get from trophies is more than enough reason to run it in PvE, but even in PvP the fact that the Capacitor is getting extra damage from having multiple cores and a touch of armor makes it an auto-include in the template. The next two pieces, the Contractor's Gloves and the Fox's Prayer knee pads, are going to give us multipliers, damage to armor and damage to target out of cover. Despite not benefiting from either brand bonus and losing a sub-attribute slot, they are both the best sources for damage we have here, and the multipliers even affect your skill damage. The newest addition in the holster slot, Picaro's holster. Sacrificing yet another sub-attribute for an additional 15% weapon damage. When running Brazos, it's hard to find a reason that you won't always include a second piece. The 2-piece bonus is by far the best of any brand set in the game. The second piece must be your chest or your mask brand, leaving with only one slot to play around with. Depending on what style of play your hybrid is, Grupo, Fenris or Cheska would likely be the first choice. This setup here is for a run and gun or PvP playstyle. The Unbreakable provides us with survivability alongside a tier 6 Crusader shield. For PvE it also uses an assault drone for distraction and additional DPS. In PvP however, a tier 6 defender drone makes you hard to take down while you're dealing out damage. Simply by swapping our chest talent to glass cannon pushes the damage and skill damage to the maximum at the cost of survivability. Sticking to cover and utilizing a drone and turret makes this setup viable in the highest difficulty levels of PvE content. This high-risk setup rewards calculated and careful gameplay and can yield high damage in the hands of an experienced agent. Depending on your playstyle, you can either stack crit sub-attributes or skill damage if you'd rather rely on your skills to do the heavy lifting. This setup is a different approach to the previous two, sacrificing weapon damage for additional armor and using the Obliterate chest talent to compensate. You'll want to run a Cheska piece here to make sure your crits are as often as possible to feed the Obliterate talent. This is the most balanced of the three and works great for traversing the open world or dark zone. Easily my most favorite way to play the hybrid now, and it has made its home in slot 1 of my loadouts. The ability to now have armor, weapon damage and strong skills. All thanks to the new brand set. It really takes me back to the days of the 3.11.7 build that shook up the entire meta and led to the gear rework that came in year 1. Which I find interesting because the whole point of the rework was to prevent builds like this from existing in the first place. I hope that this guide helps you in your own endeavors. Should you need any pointers, feel free to comment or contact me on Discord via the handle shown on screen. Keep building outside the box, Agent. Fade out.
Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay last.